Yo guys, this is DJ Raven coming at you with a new review. So today I'm going to be looking at my CDJ, my CDJ setup. I've also got myself a Pioneer mixer here. Now I know I haven't made a video in a long time, and hence I've got all this new stuff now. I've had this for a while, but I've just sort of never really got around to actually making a video about this. But here it is. So right now I've got two NDX-400's. Let me just move back a bit here. As you can see, hooked up to a Pioneer 250k. Now this mixer, I'll start with the mixer. This is a two-channel mixer. It's absolutely amazing. The crossfaders you can see here is just, there's no resistance at all. The faders on the volume are just the same. There's almost no resistance. They're just so flexible and great. These filters, as you can see, there's a color filter here with low pass and high pass, which is also just great. And what I think I like about most of these is that I use them so much. These filters are just magical when it comes to mixing. They're great for coming in and out of a track. They're just so helpful. Now you've got your three EQs. You've got your low, your mid, and your high. Just great, really. And you've got your trim or your gain or whatever you like to call them. Now moving a bit closer in here, as you can see with this mixer, these two bits at the top here say CD or phono and line. Now the thing is, I like this as well because if I, for example, want to plug my Mixtrack Pro rather, into another channel of this mixer, I can, for example, have one CDJ there and have my Mixtrack Pro there hooked up to my computer. I can have sort of like 3 channels when I'm mixing, which is also really great. Obviously you've got your master volume here, you've got your headphones, channel 1 and channel 2, turn those on and off, they have LED lights in them, and obviously your control for sound coming through your headphones. Up here you've also got auxiliary inputs, and you can select between microphone off 1, 2 and 3, and they just sort of click into place, as you can hear. You've got a low and a high there, and obviously you've got the auxiliary volume. I always generally, because I plug my iPad into this a lot when I'm playing music over my speakers, I tend to turn this up quite high. Sorry, not that one, this one. Turn it up quite high because honestly, it's my iPad doesn't have such a great sound card, just being a tablet and all, but honestly it's just a wonderful mixer. This mixer costed me about €180, so that's going to be maybe £120, maybe 130. It's pretty expensive, I guess, but then again, it's Pioneer, you're generally paying for the brand. But honestly, I cannot say a thing I dislike about this mixer. It is just great. Obviously you've got your headphone outputs there, and you can just plug. I've got some Pioneer headphones. These costed me as well about the same amount of money as the actual mixer, but then again, Pioneer, you're paying for the brand. Now I'm going to move on to my NDX's, my NDX-400's. They're just great. So basically, the reason I wanted one of these was because obviously I wanted to move on to CDJs and things like that, but CDJs from Pioneer are very expensive. Unless you're buying the lower area of the lower price range of CDJs, but then again, they're still like €200. They're generally very expensive. So I mean, these alone costed me €250 each. And that's about £200. They're very expensive, but they are so worth it. So as you can see here, you've got your play and pause button and your cue button. Obviously you've got your jog wheel. It's pretty big, as you can see. It's about the size of my hand. It's quite big. You've got these 4 buttons are really great. You've got your search, which allows you to search through a track. So as you can hear, if I've got this, just turn this down a bit, but I can search through that track. So as you can see on the track bar there, you can see how I'm searching through the track. You've also got scratch. Oh, of course, you've also got reverse. So of course you can find all your satanic lyrics or whatever you like to find with reverse, or you could just listen to songs in reverse. It's quite funny. Now break is also really fun. I love using break. It's just cool. Break is basically, it's like if you were starting up or slowing, or sort of coming a song to an end. It's just great. It's just fun to use, I think. But this is sort of what it does. So it's like a delay stopping the song. So for example, if you have it on 0, it just ends the song instantly as soon as you press the button. But if you have it on, I don't know, maybe 1.5 is what I had there, you know, goes up and down. It's great. You can change that range by simply holding down the brake button and spinning a jog wheel backwards and forwards. Now, let's go over to here. As you can see, you've got this absolutely great tempo change bar, and it's just wonderful. It's got a huge range. You can choose between 4%, 8%, 16% and 100%, or you can just take it off, and you've got your master tempo up here, which basically means you can change this without actually affecting the pitch. So, you know, for example, let's put it to 8%. I can drag this up without changing the pitch. Or if I take this master tempo off, just push this down. And then I can turn it up to the top here. Absolutely great. I love it. So up here you've got these 3 buttons which say time, single and program. Now single switches, sorry, time here switches, let me just get this right. So time switches between how much time is remaining in the song and how much time has elapsed in the song. So obviously I can sort of change between those two. It's really great. And obviously single is, well, it's not so obvious, but I'll let you know what it does. Basically, single, if you have it on continue here, when you reach the end of the song, it will just continue on to the next track. And then if you have it on auto cue, you have to cue the next track up every time it comes to the end of a song. Now program, I can't remember exactly what program does, but it's in the manual. You guys can read that through if you like, if you ever want to get one of these. Now along here you've got your hot cues, and I've got to say the hot cues aren't the best of hot cues ever, because for example if I want to put a hot cue here, and then I go into another song, and then I press this again, it takes me back to that song, and I don't want to be there. I want to set a whole load of new hot cues, but I can't do that because this just doesn't allow you to do that. It's kind of a shame. But yeah, it's great. You just hold down the recording button and you know, you select a hot cue, and that will just yeah, there you go. Loop in and loop out. This is obviously your looping system, and it's pretty good. I've got to say the looping system isn't the worst I've seen on some CDJs. It's pretty good actually. Yeah, I won't really take you through it because again it's pretty simple. It's pretty obvious if you've done looping systems before, and the chances are if you're looking to buy one of these, you probably know how to use a looping system. With folder, this takes you through, like for example I'm using a CD right now, but if for example I go to USB, which is plugged in here, this has a lot on it. Let's just go to Bangarang, and for example I see you've queued up Bangarang here, and then I can press folder to come out of that and switch tracks while that song is still playing, and then I can come back out of that folder and you know, scroll through the different albums that I've got. Now this you can all do with your memory stick. You know, if you plug your memory stick into your computer, you can probably just, you know, scroll through you can create folders, you know, you can organize it however you please, and of course the eject button just takes the CD out, but I'm just going to push that back in. So yeah, I mean it's generally a really well built machine. I really like how you don't actually have a tray with the CD, it just comes out like that and you can just slide it in and out. It's just great, because I find if you have one with a tray, the tray can get damaged or it can break, or you don't put in the CD correctly and it can damage the CD. With this you just slide it in and out and it just works. So yeah, I generally think this is a solid, CD player for DJs. I think it's great. Like I said, it costed me about €250. I don't know how much that is in dollars, but you guys can use the conversion systems and have a look around on how much these things cost. And again, depending on where you buy these, they can cost different amounts, but these things, these NDX-400's they're great, especially if you want to move on to CDJs and DJ CD players. These things are great, and the DJM-250k is just great as well. I didn't start off with this. I started off with a Numark mixer. I think it was the N101, but it's just a great mixer as well. So I'll probably put a link to that in the description, to what it looks like. I'll just sort of put a picture in the description. But this mixer as well is just fantastic. I'd rate this thing 5 stars. Apparently you can get one of these with 4 channels on it, which would be even better. But I'm looking at a Numark 4-channel mixer for when I sort of upgrade again. But honestly, everything in this video that you see here is just fantastic. They're such great pieces of equipment for DJing, especially if you want to move on to CDJs and mixers and things like that. These things work wonders. They are great. The only thing, in fact, I would improve about this mixer is to be able to record and put this on a laptop or something. But you can get the USB versions of these mixers on websites probably. But these, honestly, everything you're seeing here is just wonderful. It works wonders. It's just a great upgrade if you want to move on to CDJs and things like that. So there you go, guys. Oh, and quickly, last thing, for the CDJs or NDXs, I would actually rate these probably about 4 star. The hot cues aren't the best. The looping system isn't the best. And honestly, the pitch bend thing is fun and all, but it's not very accurate, especially if you want to sort of sync things up with other songs. They're not exactly the most accurate of pitch bends I've seen on the market, but again, still great. So overall, what a good upgrade, especially from my Mixtrack Pro to this. I'm very pleased with what I've got here. So that's DJ Raven reviewing the Pioneer DJM-250k and the Numark NDX-400's. I'll see you guys in my next video.